God bless America.
Mijn naam is Sophie en momenteel zit ik in Patuxent High School. Ik heb hier in het schooljaar 2017-2018 mogen wonen als een exchange student. En ik heb het hier super naar mijn zin gehad, maar er waren ook een paar culturele verschillen die ik gemerkt heb. En een van de grootste verschillen was het verschil in de omgang met seksualiteit in Nederland en Amerika. Dus ik heb besloten om voor mijn profielwerkstuk naar deze verschillen te kijken. In deze aanvullende video voor mijn PWS ben ik in gesprek gegaan met verschillende Amerikanen om hun mening hierover te weten.
This is sex.
Yeah, so I was raised pretty strict Christian, you know, Baptist. Do as you're told or else, hellfire, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, my parents, they were Christian. They say they're Christian, and they are conservative.
So I am from a family who is religious, but they never pushed religion on me. So we didn't go to church, we didn't pray anything.
Pretty strict, very white and conservative.
I wasn't really raised in a certain religion. Like, my mom took me to church when I was little, but I didn't learn so much about, Christianity. Other than that, it was a pretty, usual American child life. There was no strict enforcement rules when I was little.
I was raised in a super Christian and conservative household. My family, and especially my extended family, viewed homosexuality as wrong, and a lot of people in the school think of it as wrong. And a lot of people in America think of it as wrong. But that's okay, because things are getting better.
So can you talk a little bit about your sexual education?
Yeah, so it started in 5th grade, where they start explaining to you what's going on in your body, and it's really weird how much information they try to put into you, because we're still in that stage where we laugh when we hear the word penis or vagina.
The internet taught me sexual education. No one in America really wants to talk about the subject. I had a sex ed class, but it didn't give any information on anyone from the LGBT spectrum or anything past abstinence.
We really have only been taught how it works, how sex works, but they didn't talk to us about protection or homosexuality or anything like that. They were just, okay, here's how it works, now go away. And we only had one class in 6th grade, one class period, and that's all I've ever had, and I'm in 8th grade.
So you weren't taught about protection and stuff?
No.
As far as sex ed goes, it was mostly don't do it. We're not going to tell you any alternative, but just don't do it. Basically abstinence, but it wasn't explained at all. I think my parents just thought that the school system would take care of that for me, but the school system really didn't either. So it was just kind of figure it out for yourself, I suppose, was the end thing. But just don't have any kind of sex.
In middle school, we kind of just learned about the basic parts. They didn't teach us anything in middle school about sex ed. But in high school, we were expected to know pretty much everything. We just talked about scenarios. We get a scenario and it'd be about this boy and a girl, and situations that would happen in our daily lives, and we would discuss and figure out what we do in that situation. So we never really taught anything specific.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of just, if you're in a situation, you should do this. And they always push you wouldn't be in a situation if you didn't have sex, so they push abstinence a lot.
I'd say I did learn about not just abstinence. I learned contraceptions and all that. Obviously they advocate for you to just be abstinent. But we have learned about birth control and all that. I've heard about it.
The year that I was supposed to take another sex ed course, I went to a different school and they didn't have it there. So pretty much all I was left with was don't have sex, you'll get pregnant, you'll get STDs. What's a condom? We don't know, but don't use it. Don't use Plan B. Don't do any of that stuff. Don't get started. Just don't have sex was essentially the goal.
I wasn't really taught anything specific, but I had this friend in North Carolina before she moved here. She was taught sex ed there, and her teacher had 2 glasses of water, and he made everyone spit in the water, the cup of water, and at the end, like when everyone was done spitting in it, he took the water and he said, this is what it's like when a girl's been with a bunch of guys, and she's dirty and like no one wants her, and he compared it to the glass of water that no one spit in, and he's like, you know, this is clean, and like you want the pretty glass of water, not the dirty glass of water. You're just pushing abstinence, and I think that's terrible.
I mean, I feel like it should be mentioned. It shouldn't be taught.
It should be
You know,
mentioned.
Like, because if
For
there
religious purposes?
right, if there is a kid that's like, you know, uncomfortable with the idea of having sex, even using contraceptives, like, they should be told at least once, like, that's fine, that's okay, that's you.
I think abstinence, like, that's a choice. Like, if you want to be abstinent, like, that's fine. But, like, we shouldn't just advocate that all the time. Because obviously people aren't just going to say abstinent. And if you, like, advocate, like, you should only be abstinent, I feel like people are going to rebel and not want to be abstinent. So
Talking about abstinence, I think is like really a big key, because I feel like that should be more taught at home with like the families who are more religious, rather than telling people that's the only way to prevent like pregnancy and STDs is to, oh, just not ever do it. It's just like, oh, you don't want diabetes and just never eat sugar.
yeah, but not the way you guys do it in the Netherlands.
We actually used like foam penises.
Really?
In Dutch education.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Wow. That's crazy. That's super progressive.
They make us put condoms on like plastic penises, and yeah, and we discuss like homosexuality very widely, and we discuss love very much, and there's zero abstinence. Like nobody talks about abstinence ever in sex ed. I feel like that's how it should be here, because I mean, if you push abstinence, it's only gonna make people want to do it more, and no one's ever gonna listen, because you know we're hormonal teenagers, and so I feel like we need to know more about the other options that we have, or else it's just gonna be bad. Right. So, how do you feel about that?
I mean, like, listening to that, like, I really wish that that was something that was taught to me, because, like, I learned about, like, the love and all that from movies rather than, like, you know, like, actual teachings.
So, Will, one more question. Caitlin, final question. I just have one more question. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is?
Sophie, I don't need a hair tie.
Isn't this like a balloon? Like fold it up?
Yeah, it's a condom. I use these a lot.
Pretty sure this is a condom.
This is my favorite brand of balloon animals. I love these things.
Oh, of course. This is a balloon, and you blow it up, and then you put it around at parties.
Is this like chocolate or something?